And with that, hello and welcome to today's stream. We are again streaming the GT tournament of Colourfit, and today we have the team of Bepa Hagen and Fanero against Let Me Defeat You and Artem Pro in a combination of Netherlands and Poland. So we are going to see quite a bit of payments, of course. It's 1k MPT, no market, so the players will have to collect their food and wood and stone and all that fancy stuff themselves. They cannot just trade for it, so the most of the economies are basically useless. The starting settings is on army, and I don't know if that includes the log cabins at the side, but with army you start with, I think it's 36 peasants and 72 pikemen, as well as 2 officers and 2 drummers of the 17th century. Means that you can instantly make a formation, which is not going to help in this mode because you're having 10 minutes of peacetime. And everybody has it, so yeah, you cannot just go ahead and kill an enemy like that. It will be pretty unbalanced as well. Apparently players are going for the fast second town hall, which is a smart decision, because with just one town hall you're not going to produce any peasants at all, basically. Meaning that your economy won't grow, and thus your base won't grow. You want to have almost always more peasants than army, at least during the peacetime. Of course, army is important as well, but you can push a little bit on the limit, basically. And I don't know why that the people of Hagen of Faniro are going for musketeers again. So last game, this seemed to prove quite efficient, considering that their enemies, I think it was Hagen of Faniro, at least I think so, considering that their enemies didn't even go full aggressive on them. They did quite well. They might run out of ammunition though. Basically, they are not just going to win by sheer musketeer masses, I think. Considering that the upgrades also cost some ammunition sometimes. And these log cabins are also going to prove very efficient at killing attacks, basically of all sides, because none of these players have any barrack units or saber units that can shoot or destroy buildings, better said. There's no Turkey, Algeria, or Scotland in this game. So basically the players won't have any archers to kill the log cabins, means that they will probably have to go for the 18th century. Not just probably, they will have to go for it to get the grenadiers and then to kill the log cabins inefficiently, because the grenadiers have to get so close to the log cabins that they are mostly just going to be shot into shreds. However, it's better than nothing. And if you get 200 grenadiers, I can quite see them destroying a log cabin as well. almost everybody seems to have an equal base right now. Almost. I think that only Faneru is actually beginning to occupy all of his mines. And Hagen also did so, but that's because they use musketeers. They need the ammunition quickly. For the pikeman users, they only need some iron, and apparently we are pausing already. What's happening? And Atom Pro needs 1 minute. So we are going to wait because he has to answer his phone. So how's your day been, people? Have you had a nice day or a bad day? Or was it just a normal day at all? Have you eaten something nice or not so nice? You know, the kind of thing. And apparently we are now going to resume the game. I think it's quite funny because Faniro seems to use his musketeers to guard his mines, considering he's also got a formation of pikemen, two actually, that he could use for this. However, I think that the musketeers are going to be rather useless when the enemy comes around with cavalry, because they are fast and strong. So basically the guards will just be incapable of shooting as soon as the cavalry arrives, making them rather sad. Rather sad of a waste of muskets, basically. And from the first looks of it, it looks like Atom Pro is going to be aggressive, whilst Let Me Defeat You is not going to be aggressive, at least considering how he's positioning his army right now. He seems to go for a defensive doctrine, I'm not sure. But if he would be aggressive and attacking immediately, he would go to the border of Waniru right now. Also considering that he could beat him at this stage of the game because he has armored pikemen. Whilst Waniru might still run out of ammunition. He always might, especially later when the bigger battles are coming. If they come, of course. However, now it's most likely because there's not a lot of ammunition. He's going to upgrade his musketeers as well, so they can be competitive to the pikemen. And only now Let Me Defeat You is moving up quite late and in a quite bad position, to be honest. However, if he thinks that's a good idea, then I cannot talk against him. I'm not playing for him. And I don't exactly know why, but it appears like Artempro has split up his army into 3 pieces, probably to go around the defenses and try to catch some peasants or some mines. And Bahagen seems to use an interesting strategy of 15 musketeer formations to protect his mines. Not exactly helpful if you ask me, especially considering that almost any attacking army is going to be bigger than that. And we now have Let Me Defeat You going to attack Funny-Roo, which Funny-Roo I think is tank grounded. Would be the most likely solution, because Let Me Defeat You lost a ton of pikemen right there. However, now Funny-Roo has to fall back, so his musketeers don't get shredded into pieces, and he's splitting up his musketeers as well to divert forces. However, since they are both chased, both groups are chased, it's not going to be very efficient. And even though he has quite a few of winged Hussars, they are not going to defeat this army of pikemen, which is for some reason turning around now. I mean, of course, the blockhouses, the log caverns are deadly, but they were still quite a bit away. And apparently, Let Me Defeat You is complaining about a camper. I don't exactly know why. Atempro, on the other hand, seems to have quite a lot of success on his side. To be honest, the movements of Atempro kind of remind me of the of an AI. No Robert and no lots of Chinese letters. This is not a practice game. This is a real game from the tournament. And the players have started to make their stables now. Of course, the Polish players will go for the winged Hussars. I wonder what the Dutch players are going to go for. Of course, Verhagen seems to be going for the Dragoons. I don't know why, that's just going to drain his ammunition even faster, but I think that Let Me Defeat You is going to go for the Knights. So I'm not sure, yes, he's going for the Knights. A good choice in my opinion, because the Knights are pretty strong, they can tank quite a few of bullets. And if it comes to melee, they also beat pikemen quite easily. If the other team would have some, of course, which they don't. However, since knights are faster than musketeers, they are going to catch up and kill them all. And now it seems like Let Me Defeat You has just surrendered Netherlands to Funny-Roo, which I don't even know how he did that. He didn't destroy his mine, even though this army blob was quite visible. A shameful mistake. However, since Pro also has the Dutch people from Wagenstone, I think it's not going to matter too much right now. And now Pro is also going for the musketeers. And for some reason he seems to be pretty rich, considering he already has 3 Polish barracks. I'm not sure, but it might be that his ally has sent him some gold, so he can get another barrack. At least that would be the most logical solution for me. And now he's charging the hill with Verhagen on top of it. Quite successfully apparently, because the pikemen are just going through the musketeers as well as the winged Truthers are helping a bit, resulting in a quite big loss for Vahagen. However, his main army seems to be not there. At least I think it wasn't his main army. And Let Me Defeat You is having a quite poor time against the army of Faniru. And that's a lot of winged Hussars right there, and that's not a lot of knights from Let Me Defeat You right there. Sorry. I don't know if that's on purpose, but the people seem to, at least Verhagen, seems to have resorted to not using formations. There's a big blue army coming up and it's not formated, even though there's officers and drummers in there. This massive army, or well, not massive, but quite big actually, army of winged Hussars from Faniru might actually be already enough to decide this game. Though the army of Atempro is also gearing up right now, I think that they are less at this point, and I think that they are also worse upgraded. I'm not sure though. Atempro might have less upgrades than Faniru, considering that he got his third barrack. And he also has two Dutch barracks, means that he also spent 3000 gold on that. And it appears like Let Me Defeat You has collected a bunch of peasants, and pikemen and knights of course, to try and go around the army of Faniru in a quite poor manner, because he's not managing to go around them. He's basically just displaying himself as a shooting exercise, I think. And I don't exactly know why so many people are going for the Dragoons of the Dutch. I get that Dragoons are quite helpful, however I think that Knights in this mode are better. Because first off they don't use ammunition, and second off they can tank bullets pretty good. Means that they are also quite good at killing musketeers when the game progresses on. Of course they're not going to perform as well as Hussars or Cuirassiers, but I think that they will be better than Dragoons. And now Let Me Defeat You is engaging with Faniru's army. Faniru gets few shots off during the engagement apparently. And he's also got his winged Hussars bashing in. Means that I think the army of Let Me Defeat You won't survive this attack at all. Nope, it got completely destroyed. Means that any smart player would at this point just kill Let Me Defeat You. Even those winged Hussars are completely enough. Just get them in there, kill everybody, and get the musketeers to support against Artem Pro. Who's actually making a great move for Verhagen, who's doing the same against Artem Pro. Now it appears like Verhagen is trying to engage with Artem Pro. However, Artem Pro also has musketeers at this point, and he also has a lot of dragoons, so I think that they are going to get a little bit back and be more careful. However, Faniru's got a bunch of winged Hussars coming in, ready to raid Artem Pro into submission, which is going to prove very effective considering Artem Pro has no guards at all. Well, no efficient guards at least. Some buildings are guarded, but fairly not all are. That was an efficient mine explosion at the base of Verhagen, or at least close to it. Quite a few of winged Hussars died there. And now he is engaging with Verhagen's main army. For some reason he's going back again, even though the log cabins are still quite a distance away. Of course they don't want to get shot by them, but it's a little bit early to fall back at this stage, I think. And it appears that Let Me Defeat You is now trying to engage the army of musketeers that has assembled at his mines, which is a bunch of peasants, pikemen and knights. I don't know if the musketeers are staying grounded or not, but it seems like Let Me Defeat You has not really a good time with this. No, and he lost his entire army again. So I think they were actually staying grounded because they didn't lose a lot, as far as I could see. Now Artem Pro has suicided some of the winged Hussars into the army of Hagen. This might have been an accident, considering that most of his men are kind of trying to go this way to kill themselves. I think he actually set the rally point on that direction so that they would go there instantly. That's a quite bad mistake, but it happens to everybody sometimes. At least those who use the rally points to get immediately to the enemy's base, or to reinforce the army immediately. I always rally my army at my own base, so I can get formations and then make a kind of constant pressure. If one army dies, we'll send another. Doesn't always prove effective, but it sometimes is. And now Atom Pro has quite a bit of free path to raid and kill Vaniru, considering that his blockhouse is still quite a bit away. However, his wing 2 cells are getting peppered now. And to be honest, these log cabins are just broken, to be honest. They just killed so many wing 2 cells in such a short time. It's quite ironic, in American Conquest, log cabins are not overpowered at all. They are quite weak. They are quite weak actually. So we currently have the situation of Artem Pro, who has to take on both Funny Rune Verhagen, and he's quite successful at the moment. Which is quite surprising me actually. Almost reminds me of my own game. However, my ally wasn't completely shattered. He just didn't move. And my enemies also weren't that good. Well, sure they were, but only one of them was good. And it appears like Verhagen has just made a big mistake at the hill in front of his base. I don't know if he tried to charge it or if he just didn't pay attention to it, but he seems to have lost quite a lot of units right there. Mainly peasants and some musketeers. However, since Verhagen's army seems to be quite depleted overall, I think that's quite a major thing. However, the army of Winged Hussars and Funny Rule is just growing and growing, ever stronger. Whilst I cannot see any big collection of Winged Hussars from Artem Pro anymore, and I think that Funny Rule at this point has got his faster cavalry upgrade, so they are faster made, I mean. Whilst Limby Defeat You is completely incapable of playing at this point. His men are mostly getting shot, he cannot collect any more resources. His stables are completely disabled, and only one barrack can safely make units, whilst he has 3 of them. Only 2 of his town halls can make peasants either. And apparently the massive army of Winged Hussars from Funnyru has managed to break through, I think, the inexistent defenses of Attenborough, causing quite some havoc. And they can't be stopped, because Attenborough does not have any defensive units at his base, and he seems to pull none back either. So they basically have free wave for 3 Hussars. And we apparently are going to have an engagement between Verhagen and Attenborough again in the north. While there's also a little bit of a slaughter going on in the south. The massive winged Hussar army destroying some pike, not some pikemen, some musketeers and dragoons. And apparently Attenborough has made some quite poor unit management there. They just moved in position, they got absolutely shot, and they didn't kill any enemy units. And that wasn't a small army there. And also appears like yet nobody has the 18th century. At least I don't see any 18th century barracks yet, which are necessary for the grenadiers, so you can, so the players I mean, can blow up the buildings. Artem Pro is chasing off the army of Bahagen quite efficiently because he's got some winged hussars that are constantly killing some musketeers that are retreating. He could as well just fight with them and let the dragoons retreat instead, because like this he made no progress while losing everything in musketeers basically. He could have just turned around and at least fought back a little bit and killed maybe one or two winged hussars, which would have still be better than none, in my opinion at least. Which is also a thing where I don't get why most players just fall back with their armies even though they are completely lost. Even if they fall back, I mean. Which is also one of the reasons why I mostly don't fall back. And I think that now Artempro is going to have a bad time because this massive army of Faniru might as well just squash him. Even these amounts of winged hussars might be just enough, considering that Artempro's army split in half to attack both Vahagen and Faniru. One could as well just consider this to be over basically, because this is the last fighting force of Artempro. There's some reinforcements coming, but they are very spread thin basically. But apparently Artempro has now managed to get to the 18th century. I don't know if that's going to benefit him a lot at this point, but it might. Might just be enough. And from the sheer movements, it now seems like Artempro is going to try and save "Let me defeat you." However, since Faniru's musketeers are most likely in stand ground, they are not going to be very efficient when they are just charging in like that. Which it appears like the dragoons are going to do this. The winged hussars are probably not going to be very successful considering that stand grounded musketeers have quite a bit of armor and attack. However, the southern blockade seems to already be broken. And it appears like the northern blockade is going to be ignored for now. Considering that it appears like Attenborough has the problem with the massive winged hussar army again. Which he once more has no defensive units for ready. And he once more lost his entire infantry army. And the situation with the northern blockade and Let Me Defeat Your Space has been solved by Same Spikeman. So he is now free again, at least for now. But his smithy has been captured by Attenborough. Actually, he's got a second one. Never mind. It seems like Verhagen and Faniro are now preparing to take out Atom Pro. With this winged Hussar army of Faniro, it might actually be quite possible to take out Atom Pro. However, he apparently got his infantry army back in a quite surprising speed. Well, I do know that the Polish musketeers are made rather quickly. I don't know about the Dutch ones though. And Verhagen has prepared a massive hill fight, however he's not going off the hill again. And I don't know why, but some of Atompro's peasants are just going in the direction of the enemy. And they are simply being captured. And he seems to not notice it, but it's the Dutch peasants. Both Vaniro and Verhagen have the Dutch and Polish both. Atempro almost suicided his winged hussars again. It feels like Verhagen has got his 18th century as well, because he's now making hussars from the Dutch barracks, not from the Dutch barracks, from the Dutch stables, and apparently the light raiders from the Polish stables. That's an interesting choice. Probably for gun fodder, or basically any kind of fodder, because they're quite fast made. However, they don't tank as much damage as the normal hussars, or the winged hussars. They are faster made in both though. And Atempro has kind of squished the army of Vaniru that was once more blocking the stables of Let Me Defeat You. And apparently Atom Pro has once more set itself as dragoons. He's actually killing quite a lot of his army without any reason. I mean, it's okay if you move your army with the Control A, I think. However, you shouldn't move them there where the enemy probably already is, which I think it is quite foreseeable where he is. Or at least when he moved, so you have a rough idea of where he is right now. If you move your army like this, it's not going to be very good for your losses. I wonder what the ammunition looks like for Artem Pro and the enemy team of his. They are all going for the full muskets now, except for the Hussars, of course. Which means they probably run out of same rather soon. At least from my own experience, I would have run out of ammunition with such big battles. If they would have a core, of course, but the players just seem to continuously fall back from each other. And Artem Pro mopped some of the Fanirus musketeers up with his winged hussars. A good decision, because that's what they did to him as well, multiple times. And now Faniru also got his 18th century, because he's also making an 18th barracks. And even if he's superior in quality, his rather poor movements actually, and his lack of a large enough army, or at least the incapacity of making a large enough army, is going to make Artem Pro slowly lose from now on. Considering that both of his enemies have double nations and his ally is pretty much a cripple, he can't do anything. Though he just raided some of Faniru's mines, being instantly repelled by the massive winged Hussar army though. And I don't know why he even tries to fall back with his musketeers. It's just a complete waste of everything. A waste of potential and a waste of men. And now once more, Artem Pro is mopping up some of Faniru's musketeers with his winged hussars. However, now the massive Hussar army of Artem Pro, of Faniru is coming in, and they are falling back at the sight of them. If Artem Pro could get his entire Dragoon army there though, and his winged Hussars, he might actually be capable of defeating the winged Hussar and Hussar horde of Faniru. Not certainly, but there's a good chance in my opinion. And it's quite confusing, I still don't see any grenadiers on the enemy's barracks, even though they should get some because these log cabins are just going to ruin every attack. Quite literally. And with Artem streaming his entire army towards his main force, he's quite efficiently getting cut off and killed off, basically. The Wing 2s are doing a quite good job of chasing though. Even though it appears like Verhagen's army has got a total defense upgrade, so they are not as effective as they would actually be, basically. And it's quite unkind from you to call Orange Ultra being bad. He's being camped on for most of the game. He had no chance of rebuilding or attacking, he was just incapable basically. And Artepro was quite busy with other things than basically helping him. And the massive Wing 2-star army seems to once more try to go for a raid on Artempro. And Artempro once more has no defensive units at all at his base. Which I think is obvious because he seems to stream every single unit towards his big army. A rather bad decision in my opinion, considering he gets cut off and raided around the clock basically. And for once, from my eye, it seems like Artempro's Susa army is actually bigger than the of Faniru. Might have just been the map though, because they are quite densely packed. And there's a huge raid again on Artempro from Vahagen this time. No defense units at all, once more. I think he should just stop streaming every single unit to his main army. And it appears like Let Me Defeat You is not going to have a very good time. Actually, Funny Roo is going to fall back. A surprising development to me, in my opinion. And now Let Me Defeat You as the 18th century. Which is surprising me even more, considering his base looks completely pathetic. He was sat on for most of the game, and yeah, I didn't quite think that his resources were enough for this. Then again, considering that he couldn't really build any units during that time, he probably saved up quite a bit. And the big battle at Funny Roo's base is starting off. Artempro immediately crushing the biggest part of the not the biggest, but a small portion of the Hussar army actually. That's the completely wrong place to attack from though, because there's a log cabin. And Argenbro has got no grenadiers yet. But still better set. He should have gotten some by now in my opinion. However, it still looks like he's having quite a bit of success, even though he's getting constantly peppered down by the MG house. And he's also getting flanked by the Winged Hussar army again. His army seems to significantly shrink at the moment, which is obvious, because he's facing the unbeatable MG house and a ton of Winged Hussars. And also looks like he's out of ammunition, because most of his musketeers are just not shooting. And that's where my idea comes into play. Because I already thought like this, that they cannot really sustain a massive musketeer fight. Apparently he now has ammunition again. So I think that even though he's apparently gets support from his ally and ammunition stuff, with this massive Hussar army in his rear, he's not going to be able to survive this attack. And it appears like he is not surviving this, as I thought. The MG house and the Hussar army of Verhagen was just too much to handle. Which is understandable, because getting a big attack in your rear while you are attacking at the front is never a good combination. However, the game isn't over yet. And that's why I would have gone for the knights instantly, or not for dragoons at all, basically. Hussars are nice though. It's a good change that he's got them now. Because with dragoons you're going to run out of ammunition even faster. Though the shooting capability is nice, without ammunition to shoot, they are not useful. They are useless trash basically. And honestly, I pretty much say that's it for this game, because this massive Hussar army would be enough to stomp Artem Pro's Musketeer army at this moment. For now, at least, I think that Artem Pro has got quite a nice supply of army men right now. So he could, with some time, rebuild and do it again. However, this time, he hasn't got this time right now. Since the enemy isn't using any grenadiers either though, they are not going to be bashing through these log cabins anytime soon. Even though they are quite a distance away from them, they might be able to take out most of the base, but not all of it. Actually, I think that... Is it just me or did Artem Pro delete one of his log cabins? I can only find one. And it's completely impossible that they got destroyed by the enemy. Artem Pro did now send all of his peasants into battle, which I think that is a sign that he's giving up. The video is trying to come for 8, but he is way too slow, way too late, and I think that he's also way too weak for it. As I said, I don't exactly know why Artem Pro only has one log cabin anymore. He must have deleted one of his for some reason. I don't get behind what reason. Because these things are your only defense, basically, in the beginning. So you shouldn't delete them. But this also means that this is pretty much it. Because Faniru's army is ready to strike into the army of Let Me Defeat You when he's engaging with Hagen, which is going to give him a bad time, while Faniru is also preparing his normal infantry army to strike at Let Me Defeat Space. And there they go, Faniru's Hussar army and Vahagen's army striking into the army of Let Me Defeat You. Which I think he has his defense upgrades. And some knights in the mix. I think, at least from my own experience, knights seem to be very effective against winged Hussars if they can engage with them in combat. At least when I played with knights, they completely destroyed winged Hussars whenever they engaged. However, this time it seems like it's obviously not enough knights. So Let Me Defeat You is dying at this point. Artem Pro is pretty much dead as well, and I think that's almost it for the game. They only need some grenadiers now to kill off the log cabins, and then I think the players are going to give up on their own. However, the players are still not making any grenadiers at all. I don't get it. I think that the players are just going to try and root their way over the base of the enemies of Let Me Defeat You and Atom Pro, ignoring the fact that there is log cabins that are just going to shell down on them and just trying to kill them with their force, basically. And it seems to work. Even Bahagen could just go over Atempro with his entire army because Atempro doesn't have any army. And the log cabin is not going to be able to kill this many of units. And Atempro is stating GG, so this is over basically, because he just gave up. And Let Me Defeat You is going to follow up soon. And that wraps up this game basically. And I don't know who's going to be next. So yeah, I don't know who's next, but I'll certainly see you in the next game then. For now I'm going to enjoy my dinner a bit, and I'll see you soon. And with this, welcome back to the stream. Now we have a battle between Sakura, Kosovo, Barton, and Bomb. And it's a Ukraine-Russia combination, so we are having the Eastern Bloc right here. And that's basically all that I can say for now, because the stats are going to be rather slow. Apparently NF Bomb is not going to make a town hall. Apparently we are rehosting. And we are back. Hopefully this time for real. And the teams are basically just the same as I just told you. Because this is a rehost, and yeah, that's basically it. It's still Russia and Ukraine, so we're going to see some Serbic action and Russian pipeline action. I'm confused why this Ukraine though, because even though the Serbics are good in late game, when you have the market, the upgrades are very expensive. And the headmen are even more expensive, and they are, as far as I could tell, the only unit that can easily break through the spearmen, at least on early terms. So I don't exactly know what the people are trying to do with the Serdukes. It's probably some kind of diversion tactic again, that the people use two groups instead of one, so they can get the units of the enemy to chase one group and then with the other one stay at the side and shoot at them from the side. Which might be a good idea, considering that the Russian pikemen, they have quite a bit of health. I think it's a little bit more than the of the normal 1870s pikemen, I mean. They also have armor, and they are quite fast made. So it is good if you kill a few of them, however you won't be able to kill a lot of them, and not on early terms. So as before, we have the log cabins again, which are going to make the game a little bit more difficult, considering that the Russians have to get grenadiers, or brute force, basically, to crush the enemy, because the Ukraine, at this setting, they cannot burn down buildings at all. They have nothing to kill them, they have no grenadiers, no archers, the diplomatic center is off, and therefore the Ukraine is quite helpless against buildings, considering they also have no armor at all. And we are pausing again. I don't exactly know why. Apparently nobody knows why we paused. I didn't pause either. Probably one of the lot of spectators paused. And the cross war crashed apparently. So we are going to rehost again. I'll see you soon. Alright, then we are back, and yeah, we are back. And yeah, it's the same thing as before, so I don't really need to talk about that. It's probably going to play out the same way as before as well, so we are going to be able to wait a bit, I think. Because I don't think the things are going to change a lot after rehost. Except for, I hope, certain people not crashing. Or anybody not crashing, better said. Once more, I'm very sorry for not talking, but I just don't know what to talk about right now. Because everything that happens right now already happened in the previous game when Cosmo crashed. So Kulu is already building a wall. And Cosmo has gotten one gold mine that he isn't using. For some reason, I don't know why. You usually want your gold mines up fast and running, so you can have the gold advantage for your upgrades, for your barracks, for basically everything. Because gold is pretty much for everything. Gold is used for everything, even though there is no market in this game. You still need it for most of the upgrades, a lot of it. And even though the Ukrainian stables and Cossack houses, I think, don't cost gold. I'm not sure about that, I haven't played Ukraine at all. At least not in a long while. However, you need it for the upgrades, as I said, so it's good to have gold running. So you can upgrade the Zerdics in the academy and the barrack. And the peace time has ended. And Cosmo is already going aggressive now. So is Sakulo. And apparently, for some reason, Bomb already got Ukraine as a second nation. I don't know which kind of witchcraft he did use, but sure, I guess. That was very fast, and it's going to give him a very quick advantage in military force and power. And of course, since Ukraine, he will only be able to make the Serdukes and the Siege Cossacks, which is going to give him a fast cavalry that can raid, and of course the Serdukes, which are effective late game. He needs to upgrade his iron mines though, because the Russian pikemen cost quite a lot of iron, especially because they are made in this kind of quantity. And Kost was already raiding, with quite a bit of success right now. He destroyed 2 gold mines, and 1 coal mine at least. I didn't see if he destroyed more, but he did that. Which is quite a bit. I'll be right back. And I'm back. And I'm not sure how Sokolo is thinking about defeating Bomb. Because Bomb has got the Russian pikemen, which are quite well armored. They also have quite a bit of health. But the Surgeox in the beginning don't have a lot of attack. Though his Sakura's food economy seems to be up and running, I doubt that he will have a lot of upgrades right now. And it is like Sakura's attack has been easily repelled, considering that the bomb is Russian, resulting in quite heavy losses for Sakura, which he actually can't afford. His try to escape is not even effective because Bomb got siege Cossacks on his back, which are just cutting him down. So he could have as well just fought. And this battle seems to be already over now. Cause 4 states a GG. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. Apparently Sakulu is now raiding some mines. And he's also trying to attack. That's not going to work. Now Kosovo is trying to go to wall, but Baton is attacking. Bomb is fighting back Sakulu. And Kosovo's big wall has fallen before it even got built. Kosovo's got 18th century. Doubt that's gonna help him though. Mainly because Bomb also has the 18th century. The MG house is firing down at Baton. It's simply too many though. I don't know what to say about this battle. In my opinion, this was a joke. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'll see you in the next game then. It'll start soon, I think. So, see ya. And welcome back. And now we have the team of Verhagen and Faniru fight against Spartan and Bomb. This time it's a combination of the Netherlands and the Ukraine, which I think it's going to be interesting. But considering that Verhagen and Faniru seem to be a pretty good team, I think it's going to be better than last game. Then again, it cannot really get worse than last game, so let's forget about that. The starts are basically the same as always. The players start with 2 town halls, and yeah, pretty much it. The barracks are going to be delayed a little bit, at least for some players. And apparently the Dutch player is Verhagen is going for the Musketeers and away, not away, again. Might be a good counter for the Ukrainians of Barton. For the moment being, there's no barrack at all for bomb though. Which is going to put him at a severe disadvantage in terms of unit in the number he has for them. Quantity and the quality, because without a barrack you cannot even upgrade your men. Which I think the upgrades are going to be the lesser problem right now. And Bomb is also going for Musketeers, so we are seeing a full Musketeer game right now. Going to be interesting, and lack of ammunition intense, I think. Because nobody is going to be able to send ammunition to anybody, I think. we are seeing that the first stable of Funny Roo is already going up. So he's going to have a little bit of more siege Cossacks than Barton, who hasn't got the stable up yet. Peacetime is soon going to end. And Barton is just now going to build his stable. I think he got the 18th century wood upgrade first. Considering that the current amount of peasants on his mill is pathetic though, it's not going to have a lot unless he's getting more on them, which he is currently doing. So he can get more food for his upgrades on Serdiox. And Verhagen is once more going for his strange musketeer guard thingy. Whilst Funny Roo seems to be going to raid. Most likely bomb to get the Dutch. The raid of Funny Roo proved very ineffective considering that the rock cabin was just in range to protect the pikemen on the gold mine. However, there's another gold mine, and this one was destroyed in time. The ever-growing siege Cossack army of Funny Roo is continuously raiding both Barton and Bomb, with quite a bit of success, at least the way it looks. I think, yeah, he just captured the Dutch. So Funny Roo is, yeah, now having the Dutch peasants and the Dutch town hall in his base. So he's going to have quite a bit of an advantage right now. just noticed there's a weird piece of wall on the bottom right side at Bomb's base. I don't know what it's for. It's just standing there for no reason. Protecting two not even built mines. Why did he even do that? It's a waste of wood. Apparently, Faneru tried to attack the Third Dukes of Barton. However, he fell back when he saw some siege Cossacks coming up, I think. Now he's attacking the siege Cossacks of Barton. And he was quite successful with that. And it appears like Verhagen is not trying to send a weird square formation towards Bomb. I don't know why he does that. He's completely insuperior with his army. And he's not falling back again. Okay, I guess. And the siege Cossack army of Funniru is just continuously growing, as I said. And additionally, if he can keep the situation of being the only one with a multi-nation, there's quite a possibility. There's quite a possibility that he even wins this entire game, considering that he has basically double firepower. And Bomb has reached the 18th century, building an 18th barrack, which is good. But considering that I haven't seen any player build grenadiers in this tournament, not going to help too much because normal 18th musketeers can't destroy a log cabin. If it's not Danish ones, I mean. And I haven't seen Denmark yet either. And I don't know why Verhagen is using these weird square formations instead of just normal formations like line or the solid block of musketeers. It's just very bad in a fight against other musketeers because your musketeers will have to walk longer. They initially will shoot less, of course, and then they have to reinforce the line because they are further behind, so they shoot less in time, which means that they are performing worse, basically. Apparently, Baum now extended his weird wall into a wall around his entire front line. This is going to benefit a little bit more than the normal wall. Whilst Faniryu has accumulated quite a bit of Serdyuks, and Barton and Bomb have connected their armies into one blob, I think they're going to engage as well, so it's going to be interesting, because Barton is... Never mind, they are not going on the hill. Faniryu's massive siege army seems to go and raid Barton though. And Faniryu's army is not in a good position to fend up against this attack. They are now moving towards Bomb's army and Barton's army to attack. Or at least somehow. And the big engagement is going to start. Both teams are attacking each other, except for Vahagen, who seems to retreat a bit up to the hill to get a better angle to shoot at the enemy. And from the looks of it, it looks like Faniryu seems to have no siege upgrades. At least I see mostly his siege Cossacks dead on the floor. Actually, I think they all just died. However, this was a quite decisive victory for Team Vahagen and Faniryu. Though Faniryu has stopped shooting, I think he's run out of coal or iron. Not a good situation for him. I hope he can recover his ammunition soon. Otherwise he's not going to perform as well in combat. And apparently the armies of Vahagen and Faniryu are now preparing to stomp down on Detrom. However, with the severe lack of anything that can destroy buildings, I doubt that they will get past these log cabins. And bomb got Ukraine somehow. I don't exactly know how, but I think that they possibly raided Pioneer somehow. I must have missed it. So now it's time for a big offense. This big attack of Bahagens and Fanirus must hit deep, and it must hit decisively. Otherwise, the situation might get out of hand. Apparently Aberhagen also got the Ukraine. And Barton also got Netherlands. However, I still think that the time for a big and decisive strike has come now. Otherwise, this game is going to drag on for ages, and nobody really wants that. The attack develops to be a little bit tricky here. People are falling back and losing quite a few of musketeers. It appears like Barton is not going to engage with the siege Cossacks, while Spaniru keeps retreating. I think that's because he already got ammunition problems. And this is a massive cluster right now. There's carnage everywhere. And I think Paniru has run out of ammunition again. Or his musketeers are just dying so much and running back and forth that it just looks like they can't shoot. The Rusa attack in the back seems to have helped quite a lot. The tables have turned now. And they might just turn again. I'm not sure, we'll see how it works out. For some reason Paniru seems to send some of his Ukrainian peasants to chop some random piece of wood without any storehouse. I think that the next offense might be starting soon, considering that Paniru at this point has to stand alone, whilst the army of Barton and Bombers pretty good. I think they're pretty strong as well. They might just simply go ahead and cut Paniru down a little bit. Or they do what I rather expect and sit back and develop the multi-nations. And raid, of course. Which it looks like they are going to attack, at least for now. So now it appears like Paniru is suiciding some of his hussars around the army of Barton and no, it's not Barton, it's Bomb, to catch up with the hussars of Wagen. I don't know what's happening right now. They are just running back and forth. It's confusing me a little bit. And I don't know what's happening. Does the bomb have a famine? Oh no, there's some Serdios that are shooting onto the hussars from a little bit of wood. It looked like there was a little bit of a famine going on. And the army of Barton and Bomb are now falling back again. And there still is no grenadiers, not even one. Which this still makes no sense to me. With grenadiers you could destroy these log cabins and basically win the game, but without it's hard. You need to have a severe advantage, and at this point nobody has an advantage. And there's a little bit of a clash going on between the Hussar armies of Faniru and Bomb. Now Wahagen is meeting up with Faniru. And it feels like Faniru is going to try and attack the hill where Bomb is sitting. Actually he doesn't. He's falling back again. This might actually end up being a stalemate for now. If there's no cavalry engagements or raids going on. Which it would actually be a shame if this would be a stalemate now. Now the cavalry armies are riding back to Vahagen's base, probably to catch up with the new reinforcement blob. Whilst they leave their rearguard open for Barton to raid them. So yeah, there was a little bit of a cavalry engagement of some Hussars and siege Cossacks of Barton that got caught off guard, or off path better said. However, there's now a big raid from Baum going on onto Vahagen, but Vanilus and Vahagen's Hussars are incoming to deal with it, while Vahagen's infantry is also pretty good at dealing with it actually. They sure have a lot of defense upgrades for this. Or the Hussars and siege are simply not upgraded. Actually, both might be the case, I'm not sure though. I barely see any fallen infantrymen in this chaos. Now Fanil's also going to build a wall, I think. But I don't think so. He is actually building a wall. While he's also trying to break through Brom's wall, I think. And it's going to be a bad time, I think. Actually, there's Barton's cavalry horde. And Bomb's one is also coming back. Barton got a little bit caught there. A few Hussars died. However, the sheer mass of Fannilu and Verhagen would simply defeat him if they would engage. So now, basically, Barton and Bomb have encircled Funny-Roo. Now they are falling back again. Still leaving Funny-Roo kind of encircled though. However, Funny-Roo is making a massive counter-offensive together with Verhagen Susa army. And Bomb is kind of out of place. And apparently Barton Susa just got raped right there. From the Husos of Funny-Roo. Apparently Barton's army is next to get raped. So yeah, if it stays decisive like this, it's quite obvious that Barton and Bomb are not going to win. Because this is a massive loss. And there wasn't a lot of dead Hussars in there. The Hussars basically did this all solo. Which is quite surprising. I thought that the Serdians would do better, even though it's Hussars. Yeah, the entire army of Barton and Baum just got destroyed by some Hussars, whilst the infantry army of Verhagen and Funny-Roo was completely untouched. So it would be actually a wonder if Barton and Baum still win, at least to me. I think this might be the last offensive of this game, considering that Barton and Bomb are pretty much helpless at this point. Their army has been completely destroyed without doing a lot of damage, and yeah. Funny-Roo and Verhagen are still at full strength, basically. And I guess they also have ammunition, considering the last real battle of musketeers is quite a while ago. So I doubt that they will lose this entire battle. So yeah, this is a pretty big battle right now, but it looks like the Hussars are going to dominate again. Even though fairly not all of them are engaged, they are just destroying them again. And this massive offensive, I think that Arton is not going to be able to defend against this, even with both of the lock cannons shooting at once, which is basically impossible at this angle of attack. However, I think the losses will be so destructive that he'll just give up in the end. So yeah, Barton I mean states GG, Vahagen does the same, Barton is out. This is pretty much it then. And the next game, I don't know who's going to play in the next game, but I'm sure it's going to come up quite soon. And yeah, I'll see you in the next game.